You don't need to clap. It's synced already. Anyway, before we start shooting, I'll get the cap. Layo, gobot. Pandak lang tayo, kanuman.
Hello! On
Hello!
this rainy morning.
Yeah, so welcome back to my channel, Easy Drives, and for a change, we're not gonna be racing today. We are gonna start reviewing cars. And the first car we have is this G.A.C. Empow. And we are at beautiful Driftwoods Action Park thanks to our good buddy, rally navigator, Calvin Sumagi.
Thank you boys for hanging out at Driftwoods. Alam niyo namang this is the place to have your picnic. And bring your car kasi in lugar namin dito rin napunta yung mga mahilig sa kotse.
We brought over the G.A.C. Empow GE, top of the line model with all the sporty bells and whistles in its matte fighter green color, exclusive only to the GE model, which has 18-inch rims and besides the color, the bigger wheels and the yellow accents. It's a good looking car. You're hiding your belly now.
No.
Oh, Star Wars! Yeah, this was not planned. All right, so Cal will just pick up something for us, and
Yeah, we're a bunch of nerds.
he'll be right back. So yeah, back to the G.A.C. Empow G model. Things that stand out for me, I don't know about Ben. It has these vents here, which are functional. It sends air into the braking area, so the brakes will tend to last longer, not overheat. Another thing I like about the front part of the car is the grille. It's a huge horizontal grille, and it gives the car a lot of cooling. The vents below here also have holes, so you got air coming in here, air coming in here, keep the engine nice and cold.
It gets to breathe.
What do you think about how the car looks, Ben?
Well, the color is starting to grow on me.
The color's nice. I like the color din eh. It might not be for everybody, but I like it. The wheels also match the car with the carbon fiber trims and accents, like carbon fiber look here, CF look here. And I like, so the lower model has a silver molding here.
No, the chrome.
I like it black.
No chrome.
It's got those yellow disc brakes. Make it look a little more racy. To match also the yellow accents.
Racy or sporty?
Sporty. Sporty, racy. Tomato. Whichever.
Okay.
But yeah, so thanks to Driftwoods and Calvin, we got to put the car on a pedestal. In my channel, I don't know if you know, we're a bunch of nerds here, so just for today, we got some special guests for you, and they're gonna come up right now. This works. Continue with the exterior. So the front end, we agree, looks aggressive, nice, bulky, as the general car is. Now moving from the front, let's talk about the side profile. What do you think first about the side view mirrors with the carbon fiber trim again?
Well, personally, not a fan.
Oh, you don't like it? I do. It's got, well, the side view mirrors also have repeaters for your signal lights so people can see you when you use the indicators more, so I kind of like the functionality of it.
I like the shape of the side mirrors. They're aerodynamic and they're huge.
So that's good for safety. The side of the car also looks nice. It has a nice silhouette, nice shape. It looks aero. I'm not an aerodynamicist, if that's the right word. I don't know if it's functional, but it looks like it's gonna cut through the air.
Which one? Side mirror?
The entire car. Moving on to the back. My opinion for the car is the front and the back end, I like it. The rear end looks like it's a Lexus. Yeah, it's got appeal in the front and the back. It's got that. It also has rear fog lights, so that's good for when it's pouring rain.
Actually, I didn't notice. Speaking of the back.
Meron siya, rear fog lights.
Rear fogs.
And there's a rear diffuser also in the back, and it's also following the theme of the car in the carbon fiber trim.
Wait. Speaking of the back of the car, How many exhaust pipes does it have in the back?
It's got 4 exhaust pipes, and they're real. Opening.
So it's not a tip that's just there and one does nothing.
No, it's an actual quad exhaust. You can, if you get down on your knees and check the back end out, you can see from the muffler there are 2 pipes that go this way, and then you have 4 pipes exiting it, and it's also a variable exhaust, meaning you can change the note for when you want to go get that sporty little rumble. Now we can start talking about the interior.
Where would you like to start?
From the front of the interior, the dashboard. But I like when you drive the car, and even as a passenger now, the dashboard's pretty low, so it gives us really good visibility as a driver and a passenger. You can see a lot.
Yeah.
Like a lot. Instrument panel and infotainment system. What do you think of how it looks like?
Infotainment, I'm still getting used to this giant screen that's in front of me. It's nice, but I miss the old analog gauges. Thankfully, the display is in analog.
That's because we're old school, so we like analog gauges, and it's our thing, but a lot of the newer buyers like something this modern. But the infotainment, speaking of it, sounds great. The sound system on this thing, I like it. What about you?
Sound system? It's got decent bass, great mid-range,
Agreed.
so very clear audio.
Yeah, it's got very clear audio.
Wait,
Personally, I'd like a little bit more bass to get more of the lower frequencies.
that's you. You're from the bass days of sound.
Yeah, I like my bass, and I'm a big audio guy, so I would like it to be a little more thumpy and bassy, but mid-range and highs and voice, the audio system is really good.
Then again, a decent sound system is important nowadays with all the traffic,
Yeah, you gotta have good music to keep you company when you're stuck in really bad traffic.
or to keep you sane.
Also, when you're stuck in really bad traffic with this car, I don't mind. The seats are very comfortable. The air conditioning is cold. I mean, it's hot now. Since there's no tint, you can feel the heat of the sun on your skin. But the AC is keeping us cold.
Oh, that's actually a very good AC system.
Anyway, so the buttons for the air conditioning, it comes with rockers. It comes with dials and buttons. The dials help you adjust the temperature and the blower speed, and then the buttons turn on the AC, choose the modes if it comes from the front or the feet or the standard air vents in front. Everything is easy to control. So I'm a big fan of how their AC switches were done. Also, the instrument panel has multiple driving modes. It has Eco, which is
Comfort.
the probably most frugal way of driving the car.
I thought you were going through the list one at a time. Okay.
I will. It has Eco, it has Comfort. It's what we're using right now.
It's my favorite setting.
Also my favorite setting, Comfort mode, is exactly what it says. It's comfortable to drive, it's easy to drive, the power's there. The power distribution is very smoothly given. So highway driving on Comfort mode for me is the best. So the car has multiple driving modes, and as we've already mentioned, it's Eco, Sport, Eco, Comfort, Sport, Sport Plus. And when you change driving modes, what happens is the transmission changes how it works, thanks to the wonders of modern electronics.
Things we will not understand because we are not engineers.
The car pala comes with the dual clutch transmission, or DCT. DCT is pretty much, it's like having 2 manual transmissions. It's always waiting to shift gears. Since it's always waiting, what it does for you is it gives you quicker and more precise gear shifts.
And probably smoother as well.
And also smoother, since it's an automatic still. I still prefer a manual stick shift, which I think would have been great if this car came in manual. For me.
Well, if you're gonna both take it out for a daily and use it for track, this is more than enough.
I'd love to take this thing on track. I think it would do really, really well on track. And my personal preference, I would like it to be in manual, or at least have a manual option for those guys who want to have that stick shift. No, you mean you would rather buy this in matic or manual?
Yeah, if I'm gonna use it for daily, I'd rather have it matic. Traffic's horrible.
I'd buy this in a manual.
Traffic's horrible. If you have to go around every day.
The car for me works as a manual. I like it. My choice. You
Yeah.
want a matic, I want a manual.
Wait, this does have manual in sport mode.
Yes, the G top of the line version does have Sport Plus mode and paddle shifts. So for you who likes an automatic and has the flexibility for manual, this works. I'm still old school. I'd still want a manual. I like how the steering wheel is shaped. It feels just perfect in my hands. I like the yellow stitching. And I like the yellow thing on the center of the wheel, which shows that you're centered. The shape of the wheel is it's a D-shaped steering wheel, so it's modern and sporty. So just to be clear, if your mind thinks the way this guy does, you're gonna enjoy this. It's a D-shaped steering wheel with a nice amount of girth that makes it feel just right in your hand.
Phrasing, bro.
I'm gonna keep that.
No.
I'm gonna keep that part.
Alright.
So as we mentioned, the steering wheel has yellow stitching and the yellow accent in the middle. And the yellow accents go on through the entire interior, just like these yellow seat belts.
Which I really don't like.
Yeah, we both agree to this. We don't like the yellow seat belts. I would have preferred maybe if it was red or blue, because I like blue personally.
Silver.
Red is also sportier.
Although
Orange is another color you like.
Hell yeah.
But I'm sure some people would like the yellow accents on the car. It might not be our thing, but I can live with it.
No, I understand why, because everybody does red. Ugh.
Yeah. But if you own this car, can you live with the yellow seat belts? Considering
I mean,
everything
there
else.
is no choice, so I will have to. It's a compromise between all the other features. All the other features of this car make up for the yellow trim.
This I agree with. There's also a lot of carbon fiber accents inside the car. It's a glossy carbon fiber trim on the door handles and the center console. And there's a lot of G.
Like here.
There's G here.
Backrest.
There's G in the middle of the armrest. There's G in the seat back in the rear seats also.
There's a little G on the shift knob.
There's a G in the shift knob. So G, buddy. Starb style, buddy. Say G. Say G. Say G.
So when you switch to Sport mode or Sport Plus, the gauges and the infotainment switch to this display. It shows you gauges with the water temperature, oil pressure, oil temp, air temp, and more importantly, the boost gauge. Now the main difference in Sport mode and Sport Plus is the shifting is now more aggressive. Power delivery is a little more sudden, and I'm not even really applying too much power to the car. Okay, so now that we've mentioned all the driving modes, and Easy said something about the DCT, this thing actually has 7-speed. So that gives you a lot of options when driving around if you want to shift early and save some gas, although there's eco mode for that, since you can shift manually through all those 7 gears.
Speaking of fuel economy, in city driving, this thing averages around 8 to 9 kilometers, and in highway driving, Yesterday we were able to do 16. Take note, we were not driving conservatively. We were driving how we normally drive. We weren't trying to get the best mileage.
We weren't hyper-miling it. We were just
regular driving.
Yeah.
So speaking about the seats, I find them very, very comfortable. They're plush enough. It's not like lazy boy plush, which it shouldn't be, otherwise that'd make you sleepy in the car. But they're plush enough for long drives to keep the passenger, me now, and the driver without any discomfort. It's also got bolstering, which means that it's shaped to keep you in the center position, which gives you again a more comfortable way to sit down in the car. So let's talk about rear seating, leg room. I'm 5'6", 5'7", so I'm not tall by any means. And this is the leg room you have with a seat as far back as possible. Not my driving position, because I'm not that tall, not Pen's either, but this is decent, this is good. And the seats in the back are comfortable, a lot of room. And you have this center console armrest with 2 cup holders. You also got an air con vent, just one. 2 would be better, but 1's enough. And a USB port to charge your devices, phones, whatever you have. The G accent goes all the way to the back seats over here. G, more G, yellow stitching. It's got nice room on my head. Maybe if you're maybe 6'3", might be a little tight for the headroom, but fine. Now let's check out how much leg room you have when I put the seat to my position. In 3, 2, 1. All right, so I moved the seat now to my position for when I drive, and I now have tons of leg room. So it's going to be comfortable for the guys in front and guys in the back. Not bad. Actually, it's pretty good. The car handles great for me. I like how it handles.
Yeah, handles quite well for a stock suspension and regular street tires.
Yeah, I mean, when we were driving it yesterday...
Speaking of the wheels and tires.
The wheels are 18-inch wheels and they look good. And it's wrapped around GT tires, comfort highway tires. They're not the sportiest, but they give pretty good grip in rain on the dry surface. Keeps you pretty confident in the corners. And when you're cornering this car, which we noticed this when we're driving it, when you're driving straight, it's pretty comfortable. It's not too stiff. It's not like the super sporty feel. So that it's a comfortable car to drive on highways. When you're cornering though, you don't roll so much. So it's pretty stable, it's good. That's where you get the sporty feeling of it. It handles nicely on the corners, feels great on a highway drive. Suspension for me works great.
The feel of the suspension is pretty comfortable without it being floaty, and it still gives you the confidence if you have to suddenly change lanes for an emergency. And it's not harsh.
It's very, very bearable. If you fell asleep, you wouldn't wake up to it.
Yeah.
As a passenger. Fell asleep as a passenger, you wouldn't wake up to it.
Dun, dun, dun.
Another nice feature the car has, for those who like these things, is it's got a sunroof, which you slide open manually and then you use the buttons to open the sunroof completely if you want to get some fresh air.
Which we can also adjust them here
in the infotainment system. You can actually open all the windows, close all the windows, open and close the sunroof using the infotainment screen. The car also has ambient lighting, where there's a spot in the dashboard where there's like a little light strip where you can choose the color you like. The car also comes with multiple charging points. So in the bottom of the center console, there are 2 USB ports, and there's also a lighter socket for you to plug your lighter socket charger, whatever accessory you have. There's also a single charging point in the back for the backseat passengers. So I think 3 charging ports for a car and a lighter socket is pretty good. then
Wow, and that bus just cut us off. Thankfully,
Adapt to
this
that.
thing's got good brakes.
the car does have good brakes. It has a 4-wheel braking system with ABS. The car also comes with ADAS for safety, this one. It also has a backup camera. Unfortunately, not a 360 camera, but the backup camera is pretty decent. It's not that good at night, though.
Ah, like this morning, we were fiddling around with the cup holders and see what fits. The main cup holders fit one of these. And possibly a grande Starbucks.
Regular cups are fine, big bottles are fine, but the flasks, which carry at least a liter of water,
An average
Nope.
sized 1 liter bottle of mineral water,
yeah, that'll fit.
that should fit.
There's also a place where you can put your cell phone, right here in the middle.
It doesn't have wireless charging though, but that's fine.
Yeah, because I'm not actually a big fan of wireless charging because it's very, very slow. I like the phone holder thing though. A big I've noticed with the car also is when you're driving in stop and go traffic, I find it personally difficult to be as smooth as I'd like to be on the brakes and on the throttle when we're going very, very slow. The car's power and acceleration, I think, shines on highway drives. The power distribution is really good, but there is a tiny bit of lag, which I think is not from the turbo, but the transmission, when you put the throttle to the a little bit deeper to overtake.
Actually, with the throttle inputs and brake pressures in stop and go traffic, I think that's just us, since we're really used to using
Analog throttle.
analog throttle, standard power brakes. It might be just driver assists that we're not used to.
But the brakes do have very good bite. When you step on the brakes, it'll stop. ABS is there, so it'll keep you from locking up, which means that if you have to do sudden braking for any emergencies on the road, you will stop and the ABS will give you the control you need. So the brakes are good, four-wheel disc brake system. It's got that yellow little accent. It's
Actually,
not,
I've kind of noticed that feature with the brakes.
which one?
The brake feel in stop and go traffic with the newer cars, that's kind of common. So
Oh.
it's not just this. It's probably some, like I said, some assist that we don't know of.
Maybe it's a thing that's common now with the drive-by-wire system. Since we're used to analog brakes and throttle, we don't have that much of a problem with it. But since it's all electronically controlled, maybe that's where we're having the little
Issues.
communication issue with the throttle and brake pedal.
Yeah, but once you get used to it, it's fine.
Would you want to own this car?
For the price, yes.
For the price, yes, I agree.
Definitely yes. Because
For everything we've said, the comfort, the technology, everything,
power.
for the price, I agree with you. I would
What-
like to own this car.
What?
So this thing is priced very competitively. For the comfort, for the power, for the handling, for the looks, it's a really good car to buy.
Yep.
And we've for those who don't know, we've also been running the G.A.C. endurance team for the past few years. We've always run stock engines, and we have never had an engine problem. So based on our experience with the running of the G.A.C. race car before, it was the previous model of the G.A.C. sedan, the engines are reliable. The car is reliable. So
How long have we been racing that car?
we've been racing that car for, I think, 3 to 4 years. We had a bit of a pause during the pandemic, but we've raced the car with good success. 12 hours, 8-hour races, 4-hour races with good results consistently, and we've never touched the engine. So that for me speaks about the G.A.C. reliability, which is why I wouldn't mind. I would actually want to own the Empow. I like this car. Who would you suggest would be the right kind of person to buy this car?
Okay, I'd recommend this car to guys trying to get their first car if they have a higher budget. If you want something presentable, something sporty, something with power, something practical,
Yeah.
or for guys who just generally want to get more out of their money. Because you're paying econo box prices for a sedan going after bigger cars, or at least cars in a higher price bracket.
I think this car would be good for people who, want to also have some sort of an image. I mean, the car is a good-looking car, and thankfully, it's not all just looks. It has performance to back it up with. So if you want to make some sort of statement, if you don't mind, if you're willing to leave the norm of everybody buying the Toyotas, the Hondas, this is the car I would go for. And for the price, I mean, it's such a good deal.
For everything else that you're getting with this car, you can ignore the yellow trim like me.
Agreed. I don't like it's a fake charging point. To nitpick on the car, I don't like the fake wireless charging area.
It's a phone holder.
I don't like the yellow seat belts. I'm not a big fan of the third brake light because looking in the rear mirror, it kind of gets in the way. Aside from that, I'm sure there's a few more things that I'm not a huge fan of, but that would be nitpicking. The car is good enough for me to overlook those little things, inconveniences, or not things that don't fall my preference, and I would still rock this car. I still want to drive this car regularly, hang with their friends, bring it to the racetrack. If you're looking for a nice sporty sedan, this is definitely something to consider.
Yep. Especially if you want to just have a different car than what everybody else or what your friends have.
It's a way to stand out. Yeah, driving the car in city roads lately for us during the review, we've noticed people turning their heads at us. Well, not to look at us because we're not good looking enough, but to look at the car for sure.
Yep, some of them just try to chase us down, trying to figure out what is that.
So this car definitely turns heads, makes you get noticed, and in this day and age of social media, people want to get noticed. This car does that for you.
Biniga ko lang kasi yung all-wheel drive yung gagamitin.
Game, kain. So, thanks Calvin for the tacos!
Kakain muna tayo.
Food!
That and many more available at their cafe.
Meron yan sa Drift Foods Cafe.
Drift Foods Cafe tacos.
Yes.
I've had their food here, so panado sila. What do you guys think about the car?
Well, it looks more expensive than it is.
Agreed.
Medyo ano nga eh. Nung nakita yung interior. What, BMW ba ito?
I have a question for you, Ben. Why would you buy the Empow?
One, it's different. Two, the Empow's got stuff that I would normally find in cars priced way more.
Agreed.
So what I'm getting, like I said, in the car, for the value, it's a really good deal.
Now it's a big ass bug.
Ikaw, ba't mo bibilin?
If I'm going to buy an Empow, I would buy it because it's one new, so it's going to be a few years guaranteed, no headaches. I like what comes with the car. It's got good power, good room inside the car, it's comfy, so long drives, mountain road driving, spirited driving, occasional track days, I'm game with it. And it's affordable.
Anong model pa yung ginamit sa endurance racing?
G.A.4.
Oh, it's really old.
So ito yung updated version of what we use in endurance.
Actually, doon ko rin narinig yung G.A.C, yung ginagamit nyo sa endurance.
Galing. 12 hours na karera, no engine issues ever. We've joined 12 hours 3 times na yata.
No, we normally join 6, 8, 12 in 1 year. So, no engine trouble.
None. So this is why we trust the car, the brand. We've tested it in grueling conditions. So for us, our first-hand experience with the car, in race pace, in a race environment, in a race track, push all the way, no engine problems. Yeah. So for that reason, we trust the reliability ng makina ng G.A.C. Kumakan.
Nung nakita ko yung kotse kanina, nitingnan ko yung paint. Matte pala yung finish. So, medyo challenge yun for first-time owners ng mga matte finish. Kung ipapa-detail nila, diba? Siyempre, parang hindi yata pwede i-polish yung ganun.
Nope. Not sure, but I'm sure yung mga detailers know how to do it. Pero kakaiba yung kulay eh. One of the reasons why people look at it. Kasi kakaiba.
Farm fresh.
Farm fresh. So, good food here in Driftwoods. Solid pare. So, kailan boss cafe niyo?
Open yung cafe ng Fridays to Sundays. Kasi yun yung days na marami kaming campers. Kaya rin nagkaroon ng cafe kasi yung mga nagpipiknik tsaka nagka-camping, naghahanap ng mga machichibog. And that's what we provide.
What else can you do in Driftwoods?
Pag nagdala kayo ng rally car nyo, meron tayong playground sa east side of the park. Usually summer in open for for events. Kasi yun yung panahon na madali magtabas ng damo.
Mahirap magtabas pag bumabutik yan. And then you can do biking, camping,
Bring your pets kasi your pets want to come along.
pet
It's a great place to let them run.
Calvin, maraming salamat for having us in Driftwoods.
Thank
always.
you for hanging out here.
Kahit bagyo, maganda pa rin manahon dito. And thanks for the tacos, sarap.
You're welcome.